you know all of that. You've been sounding the alarm and it's elitism, it's a partiality, and but it's just all there in plain sight. Mm.
Yes. Yes. So, okay, you spell it out, you create a formula, you take, which you spell out with individual characters, the three-letter characters. Yeah. Okay.
So if you start off with
Yeah.
Gimel, Gimel is Mem and Dalet, and Mem is just Mem, and Dalet is Lamed and Tav. And so, you got Gimel there. Then you've got all the various elements as a holographic imagery in the letter. But then the Torah is adding another letter, which is Resh. And so Resh,
Oh,
Yud, and Sheen. And all of these letters need to be deciphered on the level of a hologram to really make an accurate interpretation of that particular. But I don't know if such
oh,
you would know more about the rabbis and some of those people if they hit it, or if they just would interpret a shallow sense of things, because it really is for everybody. Everybody.
starting to realize something. If you look at the Torah, Kabbalists would say, take out all the spaces and make it one long word. And then you
Yep,
can divide it wherever you need to in order to become. So what I'm seeing is this. I'm seeing a word, and a word consists of characters.
yep,
You try to understand those characters, but when you want to delve in deeper, you add in the spellings, which gives you that formula, we'll call it, as you say it.
yep,
And then
yep.
the spaces between the words gives you time.
Yeah, I mean, and and not only that, but it
The
defines.
Torah, so it's a Torah being one word is its original form, and now it's been given to us with spaces. That's insertion of time. Okay, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's really is it really I think that we are looking at really being able to discover the sod secret of which is really before us, and really simplicity, and it will not conflict with science, with quantum mechanics and some of the technologies and stuff that we're describing. But the letters are vibrating. They are vibrating with such intense frequency. Once and it's like Einstein. Einstein, E equals mc squared. The English language, I have found that they just consider vowel sounds sensual sounds, but they really don't describe the essence and the character of course, a house. Well, a house, and you'll picture anything. It could, express maybe a different set of phonetic tones in French, la casa, or anything. But in Hebrew, they are actually describing and atomizing, if I could say the term, atomizing the essence of what bet means. Bet yod tav, and yod can be broken down, and tav can be broken down, tav vav, and when you get it all together, you're actually describing something on a physical level, but not necessarily physical, but any container, an archetype of any container, which is absolutely astounding. I don't know any other language on the globe and in the universe that has the capability to give you the essence of something, and atomize what is actually being described there on an energetic level. And it includes consciousness. It's materialized energy, uh, and consciousness. An eminent. I describe it as kind of an eminent, spontaneous creative expression of the one that we have to do with, oftentimes referred to Ein Sof, and or Ein Sof, and it's absolutely incredible. Lots of digging to really happen to get rid of generations and centuries of false leadings and people into isolated groups, and to realize that we all can move with the same intuitiveness of what is actually being described in each and every letter in specific endless combinations. uh, Maybe the ancient individuals were attached to that when they said, let us make a name for ourselves, because they understood the permutation of the letters and the depth of the letters. And maybe the whole idea of golem is attached to that as well. I don't know. I'm just, do you know, things I'm thinking of.
So yes, and we know that Torah is the name of the Messiah.
Yes,
So why couldn't they not create their own Torah, so to speak, thus their own name? Now,
yes.
just wondering, can we, as you say, we take the word and then we expand it with the characters from the name of the characters themselves? Yeah, the characters themselves. And can you go another level deeper and say, let's spell out those characters also?
Yes, yeah, because every one of the characters listed up on that
All
particular
right.
name
So there's
will
your infinity.
until it repeats itself, again and again and again, the same structure, and you will have realized the essence and the holographic essence of that particular letter.
Holy mackerel. Wow, boy, did you just give me insights on things. Mackerel. Yeah.
It's what Ross has been saying. The
Uh,
vibration rate is a musical tone of not only each letter, but each letter is a musical tone consisting of all kinds of other letters in combination.
gotcha.
And energetically, it's quantum. It's amazing.
Well, quantum, you have 22 strings.
Exactly.
I'm sorry,
Ex-
11 strings. 11 strings, 22 points,
yeah.
which means 22 dimensions. And we know that there's 10 uh, basic names or attributes of the creator, 10 lights, so to speak. Now you talked about before, I think it was Ross talked about the three songs coming together. I know what those three songs are. Those three songs is the first three Sephirotes, which is dealing with Ethia, Yud Hey Vav Hey, and Elohim. Um, those three are unity. Um, they, for illustration purposes, are separated, but in reality, they are not. So those three were doing the song creation.
Yeah. Boy, and if you break that down in the Hebrew characters and write them down one below the other, it creates branches and expands until finally it'll reach a culmination, and you'll know the essence of a particular letter in that particular song, but it's monolithic. It exists on various levels, and it's I tell you, I've written the Hebrew characters in letters, and it's quite an art to do that. But it's kind of like describing in English a verb, a noun, and a pronoun or an adjective, but it's on a completely different level altogether, and it doesn't really abide by modern Hebrew grammar. It's energetic formulas of astounding degree, and when you see just one letter in all of its point, it's like well, looking at on the hood of a 442, and you look at the outside, but then you got to say, well, what's the other parts that make up that thing to make it go? It's astounding.
Yeah.
And the you know and the science of each and every letter can be found on an on a quantum level and in a electronics level. Even the sephirotes can be defined on electronics as partial passing of letter, transducers. It all is reflective. And, you know, the dual form of an electric current, aleph to tab and tab back to aleph, again, exists in electricity and electronics. It's all there in the formation of the tabernacle of what we are and who we are,
So
what
we,
is
so,
built.
so you are saying that technology is a mechanical manifestation
Yeah,
of, okay, gotcha.
of consciousness and energy being materialized.
Well, it is
It
in, yes.
comes from him.
Yeah, it's interesting, but water is considered physical light.
Yes, exactly.
And we know that mercury is also alive. Mercury eats everything except for iron.
Exactly. And water is actually a an expression. If you look on the chart, the water is minimum resistance. It modifies Dalet, Dalet, Mem, and uh, uh, um, Dalet, Mem, and Tav. If you look at it vertically and you move from an archetype of resistance or an open door, remember, I've always felt that the imagery is not, it's meant to lead us into a deeper understanding of the flow of Hashem energetically and his consciousness through these containers. So you look at Dalet, just resistance as an archetype, and Mem as a least resistance, but it says that life cannot be formed apart from water. And so and then you look at Tav, which is cosmic resistance and reflection. And all of those attributes and energetic significations can be found in electronics or in, oh, am I stopping?
You
No,
just
you're fine.
you're just like producing ideas in my mind. I'm thinking of like a flashlight. A flashlight, you can turn it on, you can see the source, but you can't see the beam unless there's stuff in the air. But you can manifest itself
A
when
container.
when it gets a resistance container.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's what
Oh,
the top is, the container. So the door is like a valve,
it's
which
a
represent an individual.
exactly.
So you have this water flowing down into the door and then to a tov to its endpoint where it becomes manifest.
Exactly. And if you look at all the letters in each and every one of those letters, it will define that
Flowing down.
clearly. It defines it more clearly. We live in an amazing world and it's all hidden. And the whole idea is there's so many religious connotations attached to this stuff that divides people. Hashem is just, he's there in all of it, revealing aspects of his consciousness in everything that we see, including light, which is Aleph, Vav, and Resh, which is the power of Hashem fertilizing the whole cosmic container, Resh. It's absolutely amazing, amazing. So
So,
I don't,
so if we
go
take
ahead.
like the first word or the first, when I say first word, I'm talking about I'm not talking about composite word, but the first word is bara. Now,
No,
bara
yeah,
is bait, resh, aleph. So
Aleph,
the way I see that now, looking from a top-down perspective, I'm seeing the bait as being a a an alpha container,
Hmm. Yeah.
for lack of any other word, because you got to start somewhere, an alpha container. And then it hits a resistance, a
Yeah.
rational resistance, or to so that what's being received is formed into something, into
Yeah.
a vessel of some kind.
Yeah.
And then Aleph comes in, since Aleph is the source of everything, it fully envelops, fully contains, fully expands itself within that resistance. Am I right in the way I'm thinking?
Yeah, yeah. It's if you take the simplicity of the letters on one level, you take bet, and what was the word again?
Beit, Resh, and Aleph.
Aleph, Beit, Resh, and Aleph. You take it. There's just the archetype of all containers, any container, and Resh, which is the cosmic container, and then Aleph is in both of those aspects.
So we know that the first was Barishit. So
Exactly.
created we can use the word created, but it's not a fully understand. But since we already talked about each of the characters, we can use the English word create because we realize the fuller understanding of it. So this vessel was created, and sheet we know is six. So it created this thing with six in it,
Yeah, yeah.
and then something else was created again, but with nothing in it. It was just, it's like a white sheet of paper. It's not formed yet. So we have a six of something created, fully formed, and then we have another thing created, probably within it, created another structure of some kind that has no definition, at least that we can understand. And then we go down to um, Elohim. So now Elohim means, it's multiple forces. And then we went from there, just to summarize, then we have the 6 days. So we
Oh,
have six was created, another six was created, and then man was created, another six. So we see three levels of man being created. I know I know I'm skipping steps, but I'm starting to see levels of the world being created, the absolute, and the Berea, and the Yetzira, and then the Asiya. I'm seeing man being created at each level. When I say man, I don't mean physical man. I'm talking about spiritual man, because we have six attributes within us. Nothing physical was created in chapter one. So there's spiritual attributes that was created for man, and then the 6 days permitted each one of those attributes to be imbued into creation, and then they were created into man, into a zero anpin, so that man has attributes of creator within it. Okay, stop there.
Absolutely.
But I'm starting to see that more clearly. Okay, okay.